Hey everybody! So I came out to this cornfield today because I wanted to be in the center of everything. How can a cornfield be the center of everything, you ask? Well, let me explain. Let's start out by talking about globes. So here I've got a globe, and if you look at almost any globe, if you look closely, you'll see these lines that form a grid. The ones that go up and down are what's referred to as longitude, or the long way up and down the Earth, and the ones that go side to side are known as latitude. The side-to-side lines of latitude are often referred to as parallels because these lines go around the Earth and never touch each other at any point, so they're parallel to each other. Now, the most famous parallel that everyone hears about is the one right in the middle. That's known as the equator. So, side to side are the parallels with the equator in the middle.
Now, the way they label these parallels is in degrees. The equator is 0 degrees, or the starting spot, and that goes all the way up to 90 degrees north at the North Pole to 90 degrees south at the South Pole.
Now, the up and down lines, or the longitudinal lines, are referred to as meridians. Now, unlike the parallels, if you take a look at the globe, you can see that all the meridians come together and touch at the North Pole, and they also do that at the South Pole. Now, just like the equator is the main parallel going in the middle, there is also a main meridian, and this is referred to as the prime meridian. The prime meridian is the place where we start at 0, where we start all the counting, and this happens to be in England, a place called Greenwich, England.
Now, similar to the parallels, the meridians are also measured by degrees, starting with 0 degrees at the prime meridian. The meridians, however, are measured anywhere between 0 degrees and 180 degrees, which is the meridian on the other side of the prime meridian. So, similar way of measuring, but different number scales because longitude and latitude are a little bit different. Now, if we look at the world laid out as a map like this instead of a globe, it looks an awful lot like a graph. The equator looks like the x-axis, which runs horizontally through the middle, while the prime meridian looks like the y-axis, which runs vertically through the middle. This then divides the world into 4 different quadrants, or hemispheres, as they call them when talking about the Earth. So if we look for the center point of each hemisphere, this is where they're located. To be exact, each center point sits at 45 degrees north or south and 90 degrees east or west. Now, if you wanted to visit any of these center points, you might have a little bit of a challenge on your hands. The 2 center points in the southern hemisphere sit right in the middle of an ocean, while the center point in the northeastern hemisphere lies in a mountain range in China.
All of which brings me back to this cornfield, because it isn't any old cornfield that I'm standing in. This is the exact center of the Northwestern Hemisphere of the world. In other words, this is where the 45th parallel of latitude meets the 90th meridian of longitude. So this plaque right here marks the exact center between the equator and the North Pole. It also marks the exact center between the prime meridian and the 180-degree meridian on the other side of the world. In other words, as far as it relates to the Northwestern Hemisphere, this is the center of everything.
And if you visit, you can even get this free commemorative coin to show that you were there.
So if you ever get the feeling that living in a small town like Nakusa is sort of out of the way and you're not in the middle of things, don't worry about heading out to Chicago or New York to take care of that. Just maybe head an hour north to Poniatowski, and you too can be literally in the center of everything. All right, you have a great day. Take care.